In procurement, we often talk about competition in the market, competing suppliers against each other to get the best deal. But with the few suppliers that really matter, the ones with high strategic potential, the game is different. With them, it's not about pitting one supplier against another. It's about competing for the attention, competing with other customers. If we can get the A-team to spend more time thinking about how to make us successful rather than our competitors, we can only win in the market. That means understanding their priorities as deeply as we understand our own, knowing which of the projects gets the most investment, which customers they see as their innovation partners, and how they allocate their best talent. I've said before, suppliers don't treat all customers equally, nor should they. If you want to be at the top of that list, you have to give them a reason. That could be better collaboration, faster decision making, or a reputation for launching innovative products that boost their own sales. And here's the part people sometimes miss. This same principle applies inside our own companies. In most industrial businesses, procurement is tiny compared to other functions. Engineering might have 10 times as many people, manufacturing 100 times. If you imagine corporate mindshare as a pie, those big functions naturally take the largest slices. If we want procurement to have influence, we can't just wait politely for a seat at the table. We have to punch above our weight. We have to win the competition for mindshare. And mindshare doesn't come from shouting louder. It comes from showing up with something valuable, again and again, until people think of you first when it matters. One way to do this is to become indispensable in a specific area. In an earlier video, I talked about Apple's directly responsible individuals, or DRIs. For every critical material, Apple assigns one person who knows it inside out, the properties, the market dynamics, the suppliers, the innovation pipeline. That person becomes indispensable to engineering because they bring knowledge nobody else has. They don't need to fight for mindshare. Their expertise naturally earns it. Another way is curiosity. I have also shared the idea of the procurement leader as an investigative journalist, someone who digs deeper, asks better questions, and uncovers the story behind the numbers. The journalist mindset is powerful because it forces you to see connections others miss. It turns you from someone who passes along information into someone who creates insight. And insights are sticky. They live in people's minds. Then there's timing. If you only show up when there's a problem or when you're asked to cut costs, you will always be seen as a support function. But if you're there early, in product planning meetings, in strategy discussions, at supply innovation days, you start to shape the agenda rather than just react to it. And shaping the agenda is the ultimate mindshare win. Let me give you an example from another video, setting the tone. When a new CPO arrives and starts every conversation with cost savings, that tone sets procurement's place in the corporate hierarchy for years to come. But when a CPO talks about innovation, speed to market, or risk management from day one, suddenly procurement is part of the growth conversation. The difference is mindshare, what people associate with you when you're not in the room. And we shouldn't underestimate the power of storytelling in this competition. Numbers are necessary, but they're not enough. The most successful procurement leaders I've seen tell stories about suppliers that changed the trajectory of a product, or about early innovations that saved millions in avoided recalls. Stories are memorable. They get repeated in meetings you're not even in. And that's when you know you're winning the mindshare game. The last piece is persistence. In strengths versus weaknesses, I talked about focusing on the clients, or in this case, stakeholders, you naturally connect with, rather than pouring energy into those who will never be allies. When you win Mindshare with the right internal champions, they become multipliers. They bring you into more conversations, they cite your work as examples, and they help you reach audiences you couldn't reach alone. In the end, whether we're talking about suppliers or internal stakeholders, the scarce resource isn't budget or headcount, it's attention. The teams that win are the ones that deliberately manage that resource. They earn a place in people's minds and they work to stay there. So here's my question for you. Who do you need to win Mindshare with, externally and internally? And what are you doing week in, week out to make sure they think about you even when you're not in the room?